of love, sex and love. We're going to kind of do them together and sort of compare. So sex has a lot of health benefits. Okay, so there are sexual intercourse and sex, right? It has a lot of health benefits. Increased oxytocin, improved self-esteem, cardiovascular health, immunity, burning calories, better sleep, longevity, greater lifespan. A lot of these are linked in specifically to sex, okay? Love, the definitions of love, you can just look this up and this is what it says. If you go to any American Webster or Google or Urban Dictionary or whatever, intense feeling of deep affection, a person or thing that one loves, feel a deep romantic or sexual attachment to someone. So those are all kind of descriptions of love. So we all have these kind of, the way we describe love is what, like a human emotion? Sort of, right? Me and my daughter get in fights about this. She takes a philosophical approach, I take a biological approach, and so we have to like find a middle ground where we agree. So we're going to get into that sort of more behind those feelings of love. And I will say that they're even more than just feelings. I would sort of argue that they're programmed into us as the core, sort of part of the core of who we are. It's almost a strong drive or an obsession, I will go so far as to say. It's not a typical emotion like I'm happy, I'm sad. It really attaches and links you into other people. We're social. So we're going to talk about what is love, animal mating systems, believe it or not, our evolution and looking at how we came about and the structures of our social hierarchy and our mating systems kind of affected our biology and our anatomy. Mating systems in primates and early humans we'll talk about, the biology of love, and then the connection between sex and love. And there not always is, but there often is a connection between those two things. And current theories of love and why you fall for a specific person. All right, so it's one of the most basic and strongest of human drives. So really, I think is more accurately, this is my own professional sort of opinion, it's more of a drive than an emotion, okay? And it's really experiences and sort of needs. So it's been described as a drive, obsession, even addiction. And I'm going to show you some evidence for this. The brain, actually, the wiring of the brain that gets affected during attraction, attachment, and love is the same areas of the brain that are involved in addiction and pleasure and reward and motivation. So somebody that's on heroin, brain looks a lot like somebody that is in love. And I've talked about this, right? So we've already talked about this. I know it sounds crazy. And this is why people who are in love are crazy. Slightly crazy sometimes, right? Okay. So it's really hardwired into our brains. It shapes every aspect of our lives at the core of who we are as human beings. And it's likely not just an emotion. Now, you can look this up, and some psychologists will say, no, it's just an emotion. You know, it's an emotion. It has social components, biological components, evolutionary aspects to it. But I think it's stronger than just a basic emotion. And the way the areas of the brain and the neurotransmitters that are affected sort of reflect that. So Plato, even a long time ago, said it's a state of need, homeostatic imbalance, craving, obsession. You guys know what homeostasis is, right? We've talked about this. Seeking balance inside of your body and yourself. So describing it as sort of a homeostatic imbalance or a drive, a craving. This is just a cute little picture. So there's all different types of love, right? There's romantic love, there's family love, like all of these, like mother and daughter and siblings. This is my little Pee-wee with my daughter Lola, another little baby. Couples, so there's lots of different types of love, and it's a very, very strong sort of human drive. How did romantic love evolve, though? And I would say that it's not supernatural. Some people might say that it's supernatural. There are spiritual elements and soulful. I know some people believe in soulmates and, you know, connectedness with finding your like one true person, and that's great. I'm not going to be like an anti-romantic. I have friends that love that. I'm like, cool, that's it. You found that? That's good. I'm glad. But really, it comes down to basic brain systems that evolve from mating and reproduction to wire you in, to get you to be drawn to somebody else, right? And other people in your social system. Several key brain regions and neurochemicals or neurotransmitters and hormones are involved. Our human ancestry in the animal kingdom, we're going to kind of reflect and look at how are we similar, how are we different. And we're going to kind of look at the early evolution of sort of the first erects, like Homo erectus forward, of Homo sapiens coming to where we are now. A wide variety of animal mating systems occur. So if we look at those and we see how we compare in some of these other systems, it gives us a glimpse into ourselves. Not all animals pair for life. So what we might want to say, oh, a lot of animals, especially mammals, they mate up, they pair, they get a mate, they have family, and they stay together, and they defend through thick and thin. That's not always the case. Wolves are examples of that, right? Where they really pair up, they have a strong pair bond, and they maintain that pretty much for life. Most mammals don't do that, though. Most animals and most mammals don't do that. So, this is a little bit about animal biology, but we also link into this as well, because we're animals, we're just, right, primates. The structure of how animals breed. There's monogamy, where there's one male, one female pair for either a breeding season or for life. Monogamy. One gamete, or like coming together of the gametes, right? So this is just one-to-one. A lot of animals, examples of those I have here, like I mentioned, wolves, little gibbons, these cute little primates, they attach and they cling on to each other. Penguins, many types of penguins, swans, lots of birds. Many birds have monogamy where they pair up either for a season or for life. Here's those cute little gibbons. How common is monogamy? Birds, 92% of birds are monogamous. So a lot of birds that fly, right, go to different areas, they match up, they do their courtship, they do their little signaling and their pheromones and their dances, and they link up and they're good. They are paired. They defend the nest, they stay together through all of it. Mammals, only 3% of mammals are monogamous. Okay, so the vast majority, 97% plus, are non-monogamous. Primates, 15% of primates are monogamous. So a little bit higher if we just look at the primate order. And some of these are real cute little marmosets and skunks. Polygamy is defined as polygamy. The individual of one sex pairs with more than one member of the other sex. And this can go in either way. One female with multiple males, one male with multiple females. That is polygamy or polygamy. Okay? So multiple coming together. Polyandry, oops. Wow, that was crazy. I'm going to do thin. Andry, what does that sound like? Androgens. And that refers to male, right? So this is multiple males. One female with more than one male. Polygyny, notice polygamy, this is incorporating, it doesn't matter how the pairing happens or how the groups happen. This looks like polygyny. Polygyny. Gyna refers to gynecology, right? Like female parts, so multiple females, so one male with more than one female. Those are the types of polygamy. And we see these in human cultures as well. So we'll look at some examples of animals and humans where we see this. You might wonder why I'm going here, but hopefully it'll become clear. Okay, so we're just looking at mating systems and evolution and how these things get set up. How common is polygamy? So one sex with multiple members of the other sex. Okay? Vast majority of mammals are actually polygynous. Polygynous meaning what? One male with multiple females, right? Or more than one female, right? An example is like lions, right? There's a male sort of king of the pride and has multiple females, and all the babies are his, and they know they're all his. Did you guys know actually if a male comes in and tries to compete, or a male comes in and outcompetes that dominant male, kills him or ostracizes him out of the group, he'll kill all the little lion cubs and then impregnate the females almost immediately to make sure that he is not raising the genes of another male that's not his. That's sexual selection right there. That is natural selection, selecting for traits and genes that promote certain behaviors so that their genes, their offspring, are ascending down through the gene pool and not the other male. Why is he going to waste resources protecting, defending, when those aren't even his genes, his offspring? So this is a really good example of, and this is a polygynous mating system in the lions. Okay? Other examples are gorillas, the silverback male with his harem of females, baboons, a bunch of marine mammals like elephant seals. If you guys ever go down to Santa Cruz or Ano Nuevo, there's tons of elephant seals. They climb out and the males are like fighting and gashing at each other's necks, and they're trying to set up a territory and area where they own it and they get to have access to mating all the females that are in that area. So again, a polygynous mating system in a lot of those animals. Promiscuity. How common is this? It's fairly common. There's no lasting pair bonds formed. They change partners a lot, but it's more rare in mammals. So we see it in lots of different animals, but in mammals, it's less common than different types of polygamy or monogamy. Okay, so it's a little more rare in mammals. Like chimpanzees or bonobos, and these are actually the closest living relatives or animals that are closest to us. About 99% of the genome is identical and similar to the human genome. And that is the bonobo, which is like a bigger chimpanzee, sort of. And they are promiscuous. They will go from partner to partner to partner. They're kind of risque. They're all over the place. They do it for fun. They do it for procreation. Sometimes they do same sex, opposite sex. They're all over the place. They're very, they have a lot of promiscuity and no lasting pair bonds. But they do have a family relationship and kinships, and they take care of each other. But they, in terms of their mating system, they're promiscuous. Also, we'll see this in some marine mammals like dolphins, right? It'll go from pod to pod and sort of different individuals within the group. Evolutionary fitness, and this is something that just came up already and we were talking a little bit about. Mating systems in animals are innate. So no matter what you do in those animal systems, they are programmed to have that behavior, okay? And do that behavior, and either in monogamy, polygamy, or promiscuity, whatever's in there, they're actually programmed to have those traits, have those features, and have those behaviors. Believe it or not, genes code for behaviors as well. So they're not really learned. And this has been studied a lot. These things are not learned or taught. They're just there. Ultimate goal for all is to maximize evolutionary fitness. Okay, so that means how many healthy offspring are you going to create and produce for the next, for your lineage. There are costs for both sexes. So this is expensive, and the individual and the population has to invest in this. Natural selection results in differential reproductive success as organisms interact with their environment. So some genes are selected for, some genes are selected against, depending on the environmental circumstances. Sexual selection is specifically focusing on evolution by natural selection that selects characteristics that enhance mating success. So examples are like giant horns on the bighorn sheep, so the males can fight. The elephant seals with the big proboscis nose and the giant teeth and the size, it's so they can fight and defend and get their territory and have the females. Body parts, anatomy, behavior, a lot of those are a result of sexual selection. So traits that have been genetically selected for by evolution, by natural selection acting on them. So I'll stop right there, energy, investment, and sex, and we'll finish love. I'll do this at the end of lab so we can get to the love part. You guys are doing your presentations for the majority of